Mornings start and finish here. On radio, on TV, online, with our partner AMP. This is Paul Henry.
Alrighty, good morning to you, New Zealand. Fantastic to have your company. Brilliant to have you with us for this Friday morning, special morning, 16th of December 2016. Thanks for your company for the final Paul Henry. It's 1.5 away from 6. Jim, Ingrid, this is it. We've made it to this thing. This end?
We have. Well, yes, not quite. We've got 3 hours to go.
Do you know the funny thing about the human, whole thing is that you pace yourself, don't you?
Yes.
And, if someone said, oh, actually, we're just going to do one more week, I just think I'd stab myself in the heart.
You'd be in the fetal position,
right.
wouldn't
Because you do sort of prepare.
Yeah.
It's like that whole thing with migraines, that overwhelmingly the majority of migraines happen on a Friday evening and a Saturday, because your body sort of knows, oh, I need a migraine. When am I going to have time to fit one of those in?
Collapse in a screaming heap once you've done what you need to do.
Exactly,
It's like
exactly.
when you work 3 weeks in a row sort of thing, and then you have a couple of days off and you get sick.
Do you know what we
Where's
could
the
do? We
justice?
could just keep throwing analogies like this. I reckon we've got 3 hours of these analogies. Coming up on the programme for you today, it's been a year of surprises, a year when people, quite frankly, have gone rogue. Brexit, Trump, John Key's departure. After 7, we'll look back on the year that was. And we're looking ahead to a big year next year for New Zealand with our politicians. How has National's change of leadership and the fact both parties are losing some major players, does Labour have major players, are going to change the shape of the 2017 election battle? Paula Bennett and Annette, both deputy leaders, are here with me next hour. 2016 was the end of the road for Prince and David Bowie, but were these the biggest entertainment to me? It's a little bit different too. It's not what you would ever imagine. And we're checking in on the plight of the homeless as we head towards Christmas, particularly important time of year. That and so much more. Of course, it is a Friday, so we'll check out the movies as well with our movie review. It's 6 o'clock, time for the very latest news. Here's Ingrid.
Good morning. The evacuation of thousands of rebels and civilians is underway in eastern Aleppo. The first convoy of 20 buses and 13 ambulances left this morning, carrying around 950 people. Thousands more are anxiously waiting. Baubles have been destroyed. That is the latest from News Hub. It is 6:04.
Well, that's the end of Christmas there, isn't it?
Bauble
That's
destruction.
Christmas over in Invercargill. That's it. Back to your homes. Nothing to see, nothing to celebrate. What bastard would do that?
Oh.
I mean, stealing baubles is one thing, but just smashing baubles and leaving a smashed bauble on a tree. I mean, that is the picture of Christmas in Invercargill. A smashed bauble on a vandalised tree. What a shame. Right, okay, let's look at a couple of quickies now. Oh, and incidentally, while we're talking trees, here's a tree you don't need to vandalise. Have you seen the tree in the newsroom?
I think someone did vandalise it, didn't they?
It looks like it's been raped, doesn't it? It looks like Father Christmas came down the chimney, ran over and just humped it within inches of its life. Who put the lights on it? I have never seen a tree so shabbily decorated.
I've got no idea, but no, it's an atrocity.
It was better. Well, actually, I don't know if you do know this.
It wasn't
Was it better decorated and then sort of, people stole things from it, which could happen in this place?
No, that's not what's happened. That tree looked better in its box. It's just idea. And the thing with lights, here's a little tip, my tip for your Christmas lights. The wires shouldn't be seen. Now, it's impossible to hide them entirely, but this tree is all about wires. I don't know why it's got lights.
There's more wires than bulbs. And you've got to evenly distribute the lights as well. Of course you have. It's all about
those are lights for the outside of a house or something. I don't know. And also the lights have to be evenly spread, exactly, right to the top of the tree. What is it with this, skirt of wires? Anyway, that's all I want to say about that.
Thank goodness.
So anyway, I was checking very quickly because I'm going to ask you a little bit later on, both of you, what you're going to do next year. And just, what the future's got in store, because I don't plan on keeping in touch.
I hear Palm Springs is nice this time of year.
That's right.
Exactly.
Did you get that brochure? I got that brochure.
Stay away. So I thought for you, Ingrid, maybe you'll have another child, but I've been looking at the list of women's names who are going to have children next year in 2017. You're not on it.
Oh,
nowhere to be
God
seen.
for that.
Not in the top 20 anyway. So just very quickly, if you are a female, because there are no male names here, if you are a female, then with the name Jessica, Amy, Jade, Rebecca, Charlotte, Hannah, Lauren, Sophie, Emily, or Sarah, next year you will have a child, most likely. And it's not guesswork, it's not craziness. I've talked about this every year. It just literally is math. In the developed world, what are the most popular girls' names each year, and what is the year that the average person is likely to have a child, the average woman is likely to have a child. And so there you go. Next year, those are the women that will be pregnant. Now, here's a worry going to Christmas just quickly, because I need to tick these things off. So much to say and only one program left to say it. this whole debate over, and you'll be interested in this, Jim, because you're a huge drinker, this whole debate over whether there is a safe amount of alcohol to drink.
Yes.
And there is still, because of antioxidants, red wine it has antioxidants in you, so it has a component of antioxidants in it, right? But there are many better ways of getting antioxidants, because it's like saying on the end of this knife I have a medication that you need. I am going to plunge this knife into your chest to deliver the medication. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so definitively, and this is only with regard to heart problems, drinking and heading into Christmas is important even for the casual drinker. Drinking just one glass of wine or bottle of beer a day could trigger dangerous heart flutters in all people. Data from more than 900,000 people suggests regular drinking, even at very light levels, can be dangerous to the heart. Drinking one standard drink a day, so that's 340 mils of 5% strength beer. How many of those would you have a day, Jim? Seriously. Average it out.
I average it out?
Yeah.
There'll be a couple of days where I don't have anything to
That's
drink.
why I said average it out.
2 or 3? Probably. 2 or 3?
2 or 3 a day, see? Because, and that's fair enough. Own up to it. We're both heavy drinkers, aren't we? Or 12% strength wine, 140 ml of wine a day, anyway, increases the risk of an abnormal heart rhythm by 8%. Oh, 8% doesn't sound too bad. Here's the problem.
I'll take the risk.
I thought...
92% that it wouldn't do it, so...
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
So here's what I thought. Obviously, the problem is you're just not drinking enough, but it apparently does get worse with every drink. So one drink a day, 8%. So you have more than that. That's not... So it starts to look alarming. You just have 2 drinks. It's not 16%, but it's like up to about 10, 11%. So before you know it, you're dead.
I always thought the more you drink, the sort of the calmer the heart gets, you know?
Yeah, no. It's just your ability to recognise a heart flutter disappears. Oh, am I even dead? I'm not sure. I'm so drunk I have no idea. The researchers advise people who experience occasional irregular heartbeats anyway to limit their alcohol consumption to nothing. It's 9.5 minutes past 6 this Friday morning, 16th of December, perilously close to...
It's beginning
exactly.
to look a lot
I know.
like Christmas.
Yes, it is. This is what the weather's doing today.
Mixandmatch.co.nz, bringing you Paul Henry weather.
For the lower South Island, showers gradually clear for Invercargill with westerly gales and a high of 15. Everyone else is fine with lighter winds, Dunedin 19, Queenstown 17. Morning showers will clear for the west coast with a fading sou'wester, Hokitika and Greymouth 16, Westport 17. Sunshine for the east and top of the South Island, 23 for Timaru, Ashburton, Christchurch and for you in Blenheim. Blue skies for the lower North Island. Wellington is heading for 18, Marsden 21 and Palmerston North 19 degrees. For the west of the North Island, cloud will clear for a sunny afternoon. Blue skies for you in Taupo with a high of 19, New Plymouth 18 and Whanganui 19. Sunshine for Hawke's Bay, Gisborne and the Bay of Plenty, Napier 25, Gisborne and Tauranga 22 degrees. Morning cloud for the top of the country with southwest breezes. Auckland and Hamilton 20, Whangarei and Whitianga 22 degrees. The weekend is off to a fine start. Lots of Saturday sunshine for the top of both islands, but we've got some rain developing in Fiordland. Cloud and showers slowly spread up the country on Sunday with gales in Southland.
And in case you're interested, today Palm Springs, sunny and 24 degrees. That is the high. The low will be substantially lower than that because I'm not sure if there's snow on the mountains, but I think it could be there, so it could even be down to 0 in the middle of the night. But that's fine because you can't see it. It is 11 minutes past 6. Jim Sporco.
Thanks, Paul.
Hold each other accountable at the defensive end.
And because we're going off air, the Breakers are giving themselves a 2-week break for Christmas too.
All right, very nice. Interesting, you say Bowden Barrett is a very humble man, which of course is fine. But should a humble person say they're a humble person? Does a humble person in a speech say, I'm very humble? It's just interesting. Normally that's something that someone would say about you rather than someone you would say about yourself. I mean, he's just being honest and I think a little arrogant. Right, 13 minutes past 6. Great to have you with us after the break on Paul Henry. Fruitcake and why the internet is debating whether it is delicious or disgusting.
Tomorrow belongs to those who start today with AMP.
Welcome back, my friends.
to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
It is great to have your company, right from one end of paradise to the other, this whole spiralling metropolis that is this gorgeous country. This is Paul Henry. It's 17 minutes past 6 a.m. on a Friday morning. Here's Ingrid with the news headlines.
It's believed the departure of Murray McCully will help bring in new blood to the government. China has been accused of building up weapons on the islands in the South China Seas. And a new poll shows America is still very much divided over its incoming president. More from News Hub at 6:30.
It's not rocket science, is it, that lead story? It's not rocket. Murray McCully, one of the oldest people in the world, leaving Parliament, will make room for new blood.
It's kind of like
for someone who isn't
math,
Murray McCully.
It? Yeah.
Well, it all comes back to maths at the end of the day.
Henry.
It's 17 and a little bit past 6. Let's take a look at some of the other stories making news right around the world this Friday morning. Traces of explosives have been found on the victims of May's Egypt Air plane crash. A criminal investigation will now begin into the fate of flight MS-804 from Paris to Cairo. You'll remember this news when it went down. The cause of the crash has so far remained unclear. A judge has ruled former television entertainer Rolf Harris will not have to attend his indecent assault trial in person due to his age and health. The court says he can follow proceedings via video link from Stafford Prison, where he is currently incarcerated, so that's convenient. It's thought to be a legal first. And a new report warns Europe's biggest hospital needs to improve its security or risk mothers leaving with the wrong baby. Some infants born at the Royal London Hospital had no name tag, so it was like first come, first served, which one looks best. The report says it could also result in babies being given the wrong medication, which you wouldn't want, would you? But I mean, that whole idea, I got here first. None of them are spoken for. Verity's in the bunker. Verity, here we go.
Hello.
Here we go.
This is it.
I know. Hashtag Murray McCully, who I once said was a stupid old man, but he argued the toss with me that he wasn't old.
Oh, so he conceded that he was stupid.
Well, by not bringing up the stupid fact, I suppose he did. He did concede that he was stupid.
I love that.
Or he accepted himself. He wasn't quite stupid enough not to accept that he couldn't prove that he wasn't stupid if it came to court.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, and in terms of old, it is, everyone's age is sort of slightly different, isn't it?
Well, he's probably somewhere like 50, right?
Oh, no, he's older than that.
Is he older than that?
He's older than that.
Oh.
Yeah. Can we, 63.
Oh, okay, right, so
63.
significantly older than 50. You want to go and spend time inside on your own in front of a computer.
No one likes a nagging woman. That's her problem. She's just on at him all the time. Crackety crack. No wonder he wants to play video games. Right, the poll today.
Are you the kind of person who participates in polls?
Oh, that'll be very interesting to see that response to that. So the poll today, paulhenry.co.nz. Are you the kind of person who participates in polls? It's 25 minutes past 6. The 6:30 news is next, plus our correspondence on the biggest entertainment stories this year.
Tomorrow belongs to those who start today with AMP.
Jingle bells, oh, what fun in a one-horse open sleigh.
Alrighty, fantastic to have you company, New Zealand, on the 16th of December. This is Paul Henry, 29 minutes past 6. On this day in 1977, Saturday Night Fever ignited the disco craze along with the movie career of John Travolta and other stars when it opened to general release. Oh, yes. Billy Gibbons' ZZ Top is 67 today. Oh, legs, she knows how to use them. Similar sentiments expressed by another birthday boy today. Beethoven was born on this day in 1770, died 1827. Nice. Sadly, he died before the kazoo was invented. It is Ugly Christmas Sweater Day, Underdog Day, and Day of Reconciliation in South Africa.
They amaze the world with their magnanimity, their nobility of spirit, in their willingness to forgive those who had inflicted so much suffering on them.
I don't know this for sure, but it did sound like Desmond Tutu. On this day in 1953, President Eisenhower held what was the first White House press conference.
We want to bring the president and his words and deeds as closely as we can to the people in the home and the people in the theaters.
That was this day, 1953. 2010, Larry King, the host of Larry King Live, signed off after 25 years on air.
I don't know what to say except to you, my audience. Thank you. And instead of goodbye, how about so long?
Oh, Larry. terrible flatulence. And finally, on this, no, I do. This is famous for it. He had infamous flatulence. And as he got older, so his flatulence got more persistent. And on this day in 2001, if you were twiddling with one of the last Bakelite knobs left, Robbie Williams and Nicole Kidman were at #1 with their version of this Frank and Nancy Sinatra song.
Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like
I love you. And that is this day. It's the 16th of December. It's 6:30 time for the latest news. Here's Ingrid.
Good morning. For Tianga News Hub, it is 26 to 7.
Lots of feedback. Obviously, Trump doesn't get out if he thinks that's the worst restaurant in America. My God, there are some bad restaurants there. Let's have a look at some of your feedback this morning. Subject, farewell, Paul, and good luck. Dear Paul, we write to you with great sadness for ourselves that you have selfishly chosen to get your life back instead of fabulously entertaining us each and every morning. Your unique, insightful and brutally honest commentary is what New Zealand needs more now than ever and sadly lacks. Your wicked, often childlike humour is funny. We will miss you immensely. We wish you all the very best in your new life and make sure you break the habit of after-work Pinots at 9 a.m. It must move to a later time slot. Vincent and Linda in Nelson. Now, here's an interesting thing. Luke has posted a picture. You will hate this, Vincent and Linda. Luke has posted a picture on the Paul Henry Facebook page of him and a friend drinking Pinot to my goodbye, drinking Pinot to farewell me from their homes. And so I thought this would be a nice thing to do because it is Pinot o'clock somewhere. Let's make it here. Send me some pictures this morning. Let's put up a whole wall of people. You know, if you're sitting at home listening on your wireless, have a glass of wine, preferably Pinot. Choose something else if you like. If you really have to, a beer. But take some photos and let's get a wall of these things plastered up today. Won't be the only thing plastered up. Lisa says, re Bowden Barrett. I think you'll find Bowden said he was humbled by the honour of receiving the award and not humble. I'm not sure that's true. It's possible, but I'm sure we will be playing it again. We'll miss you big time. God knows what I will do in the morning when I'm getting ready for work now, Lisa. Right. On your last programme, dear Paul, on this, your last programme, I would just like to remind you of your coming to your girls' school, St Pat's in Masterton, to talk about your protest voyage to the Pacific. The first thing you told them was how you had to go to the toilet on the boat, and the questions from then on were based solely on that topic. All reports written by the children were written joyfully and very descriptively on your going to the toilet as a result. Good luck for the future. You still make me laugh. Michelle Lafferty, the principal of St Pat's School. God, that's going back. It's a funny thing, though, because those are the things...
I was going to say, and you still talk a lot about going to the toilet, to be fair.
Kids love poos and wheeze.
Poos and wheeze.
You know,
poos and wheeze.
they just talk
Kids
about it.
And basically any British person. Yeah. They just love it. I think it's the only country in the world where they bring out humorous postcards on toilets. And but it's the lovely thing. And funnily enough, as a foreign correspondent, that is one of the things... You know, which I was for many years. That's one of the things that prey on your mind mostly.
Oh, yeah.
It's not where am I going to sleep. It's where am I going to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your feedback. It's 23 minutes away from 7. This is what the weather's doing today and this weekend.
Mixandmatch.co.nz.
We just don't know. It's 20 minutes to 7. We'll check it out before the end of the program. Time to talk money with AMP.
Start smart with AMP and Paul Henry.
And Tony Field. How are you, Tony?
Hello there, Paul.
All right, last one this morning.
Yes, the last one.
Last AMP Talk Money you're ever going to have to do, and so don't muck it up.
No.
And this is a good one. You've chosen a very good one. Advice for 2017.
Daughter can work out of. So everything is topsy-turvy right now.
Brilliant, brilliant. Very good choice. Lachlan, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure meeting you on the program.
And Paul, thank you very much for having me. It has been an absolute pleasure working on this show. And you're an original broadcaster, and I wish you all the very best for the future.
Fantastic. You notice, of course, Lachlan did not invite me over to his place, as Dan did, but it doesn't mean I won't arrive. Lachlan Cartwright.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much,
sir. Welcome to the Big Apple anytime.
Our US correspondent, Lachlan Cartwright. It's 11 minutes away from 7. Just ahead on Paul Henry this Friday morning, Corrections Minister Judith Collins, one of my favourite politicians, is popping in.
Judy, 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 I love you. Judy.
All right, wonderful to have you back, New Zealand, from one end of paradise to the other. This is Paul Henry this Friday morning. It's the 16th of December, which means it's only, how many days till Christmas? Is it 8? Is it anyway? Well, 9. It's 9 days till Christmas. Near enough. Right, 6.5 minutes away from 7. So anyway, the other day, my phone goes and it's a text, from Corrections Minister Judith Collins, who is standing there next to a very odd facsimile of my good self. And now, Judith, you have brought this in, and this comes from Invercargill Prison.
It does, yes, Paul. So there's one of the prisoners in Invercargill. We'll call him Henry. He has.
Why will we call him Henry?
Because that's what we're calling him.
Oh, okay.
And he has discovered a talent for art and during the art workshops, and he's made this of you, this wonderful paper mache.
It's a Paul Henry coming out of an egg.
That's it.
I love it. The bottle is a bottle of Pinot.
A little dummy and a little bottle of Pinot and a little ducky feet. And anyway, so I was down in Invercargill. He was making this, and I said, I think Paul would like this. And she said, oh, could you get it to him? So I said, yep, I can get it to him. So I just made this outrageous promise.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny, and it's just so wonderful. It's funny, and I wanted you to come in today too, because, I mean, as you know, I believe you're the way the world should be run. But it's an interesting thing because you, as Corrections Minister, you are you're quite often called on to interact with prisoners. Yes. I mean, prisoners want to actually chat with you and meet you, don't they? Yeah,
they do. And do you know what, Paul? This show is really hot in prisons. Henry said to me, everyone watches Paul Henry in the show. And
it's because I think the prisoners can see a sort of kindred spirit in me. I am a prisoner in a different way.
But Paul,
I'm a criminal, I just haven't been locked up.
No, it's because you're often in trouble. And the other thing is that apparently they quite like me because I'm often in trouble
Exactly. Fantastic. Judith,
you.
It's been a really interesting year for you, and we look forward, I look forward from a distance, as I say, over a glass of Pinot, watching your rise and rise.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Brilliant. And it's been a pleasure having you as part of the show. It's 4 minutes away from 7. What am I going to do with the paper mache me? News is next, and then the hits, misses and surprises that 2016 served up. We look back on the year that was.
This is how we do.
The movers, shakers and newsmakers. On radio, on TV, online. With our partner AMP. This is Paul Henry.
Another Friday morning. It's the 16th of December. Very good to have you with us on Paul Henry. There is only 2 hours of this award-winning program left. Thanks for being with us. As I say, it is exactly 7 a.m. Just ahead, we look back on the year that was, the stories that have knocked us for 6, the events that have warmed our hearts and those that have broken them. That's coming up shortly. Plus, we will discuss the big year ahead with our favourite politicians after the major leadership upheaval for National and both major parties losing some key MPs. What lies ahead for next year's election? In 20 minutes, Annette King and Paula Bennett are here, both of them, of course, deputy leaders of parties. Sleeping in cars or under the stars, the growing number of homeless people has been an enduring story this year, a crisis for the government. So at Christmas, are things any better or any worse for those who are without a roof over their heads in New Zealand? Plus, our Friday morning movie review, our panel, we'll find out whether Kate Rogers' take on Rogue One indicates it is truly one of the great Star Wars movies or not. It's time for the 7 o'clock news this Friday morning. Here's Ingrid.
Good morning. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from eastern Aleppo. That is the latest from News Hub. It is 7:04.
Lots and lots of feedback, and to all of the people, because you just can't keep reading on air feedback about how lovely, lovely feedback about how people will miss you, which is what I intend to do now. But I just want to say, for all the people whose feedback I won't be reading out on that, your words are very, very lovely indeed, and I will remember them. Hi Paul. 18 months ago I was travelling through Europe. Upon arrival to one of my destinations in the north of France, imagine my delight to see the name of the apartment building I was staying in was Paul Henry. At the time, I happened to be reading What Was I Thinking by Paul Henry. Imagine my further delight that for the first time in my travels, the internet was fast enough for me to be able to watch Paul Henry. A Paul threesome. Au revoir, mon ami, Annette. Isn't that? Oh, she sounds nice. Threesome. She sounds nice. Robin says, morning Paul, your poll today is a divide by zero question. I am the type of person who takes part in polls, but this one doesn't make sense, so I won't take part. I will miss your, although technically by sending me an email about it, Rob, do you know what I'm saying? So I won't take part. I will miss your humour in the mornings. Good luck for your future endeavours and compliments of the season to you and the team. Rob, thank you. It's an interesting poll this morning, isn't it? Technically, it should result in 100% Yes. The question we're asking is, are you the type of person that takes part in polls? So, Rob, you should have said yes. How can you say no without lying? I suppose you could argue, couldn't you? Oh, God, the world is so complicated. You could argue that you are not the kind of person that takes part in polls, but you are taking part in this particular poll. The other thing we're doing this morning, Verity, I don't know if you've had time to tabulate the results, have you yet?
I'm literally, as we speak, collating all the photos into one collage.
No, the results of our poll.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the Pinot thing. Yes, 44% of people currently say that they do not participate in polls.
So 44% of people answering our poll have said they do not participate in polls.
They just don't do polls. They're not
Caroline
a poll
Daly
person.
is on the programme next. The social commentator. She'll know all about how crazy people are.
It's great. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not part of this, but I'm going to tell you that I'm not part of it to make sure that you know I'm part of it.
Yeah, that's right. I never take part in polls.
No, never.
Tech.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of the Pinot, we asked people to send in pictures of them basically drinking breakfast Pinot.
Yes, and we've had a really healthy amount of people who have started to get drunk at 7:07 a.m. in the morning.
You don't have to get drunk. I know you're young and young people drink alcohol to get drunk, but there's nothing wrong. Well, there is actually, apparently. But a glass of Pinot in the morning. The criminal thing is to leave the bottle half empty. Thanks, Verity. Jean said this. What we're talking about. What a responsible team, she says. Proud of your health warning this morning. Nice work. A glass of wine a day, 8% more likely to have cardiac problems. Finally, Paul, please read this out to the theme of the Dear John song, which is tricky, but I think I've nailed it. Dear Paul, how I hate to write. Dear Paul, I must let you know of my plight, that I'm sad to see you go. I will really miss your show. There will be no other. And it goes on. And it's lovely. And I thank you very much for that. And as I say, for all of your lovely feedback, 8 minutes past 7. This is what the weather's doing today. I've worked out why there is some confusion. And the person that wrote in before is slightly right. I think he's used the word humble where he really meant to use the word humbled.
That's exactly what
he dropped the D.
The E. The D.
Yeah.
So let's have just another listen to Bowden Barrett.
I'm hugely grateful and humble. You know, it's
yeah. That's where he's gone wrong. That's where you've gone wrong, Bowden. So in your humility, you've come across as just a little bit arrogant. It's 12 and a half minutes past 7. Brilliant to have your company this morning.
This is Paul Henry.
Friday, the 16th of December. Here are the 5 things that I have learnt this year. At number 1, I may in fact be a jinx. If I was into gambling, 2016 could have broken me financially. All the small things I picked 100% accurately. The bigger things, not such a good strike rate. I never thought Brexit would actually happen. I became convinced Hillary Clinton would win the US presidency. I also threw my support behind Judith Collins. In hindsight, it could have been my backing that was her downfall. It is, though, somewhat comforting to know, in this day and age of experts up the yin-yang, with data and research up the wazoo, the world can still surprise, delight and shock. At number 2, yes, there was Trump's victory, of course, but John Key's resignation was perhaps the biggest shock for me and New Zealand as a whole. As a member of the media, it's nice to know there are some politicians who can keep secrets. I again take my hat off to our former Prime Minister for his hard work, his leadership, and for orchestrating his own departure. At number 3, there are some stories you cover, stories you can bang on about till the cows come home, and yet nothing changes. Syria is one. Our child abuse record is another. Both are quite simply shameful examples of humanity. They move me sometimes to tears. I wish I could have done more or just done something. Coming in at number 4, despite the newfangled approach to management roles and all the leadership training in the world, there are still people in positions of power who need to be taken to task. Some of them I've had the privilege of interviewing and exposing this year. Some of them I've nailed to the bloody wall. But there are many others out there waiting to be unearthed. No excuses for bad leadership should be tolerated. And at number 5, the time to live is now. If you have a burning desire, something you are longing to do or be, then there is no time like the present, although it is quite busy before Christmas. So maybe next year could be the year to really live. Make it your New Year's resolution. Don't wait to live.
It's news, cleverly disguised as entertainment. This is Paul Henry.
Sometimes so cleverly disguised as entertainment, no one recognises it. It's 15 minutes past 7. Let's take a look back at the year that was. Politicians on the big year ahead. Welcome back. Great to have you with us. It is 24 minutes past 7 on Paul Henry on this Friday morning. Here's Ingrid with the news headlines.
A marine biologist says DOC's funding needs to be re-evaluated after the Whitianga Harbour Master was forced to help free an orca. Investigators say traces of explosives have been found on Egypt Air crash victims. And Jimmy Kimmel has revealed his paycheck for hosting the Oscars. And it's not quite, let me finish, as impressive as you think.
What is
What's
it?
impressive?
I don't want to wait.
It's
I don't want to wait.
tease.
Yeah, I know it's a tease, but there are people waiting to get in their cars, and I know they can take us with
in their radio.
There will be a period of time, quite possibly, Ingrid, between the house and the car, and they don't want to miss it, depending on how long their drive is.
I think it's about 21 grand.
21 grand. 21 what? Million?
Grand.
What?
$1,000.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't do it for that. I would not do it for that. Henry. Right, it's coming up 25 minutes past 7. You're right, Ingrid. It's not what I thought. It's appalling. He'll be living in a car next.
I'll take that out of the bulletin.
I told you, yes, it's out. I told you last week that I would be speaking this week to the 2 deputy leaders of the major parties. And, of course, I was right. Deputy Prime Minister Paula Bennett and Labour's Deputy Leader Annette King join me now. Not so much, guys. Morning to you.
Good morning.
Not so much the Battle of the Babes. The battle of the battle of the grandmas.
Yes,
that's what we thought. It's a bit of a battle of the grannies, isn't it?
Yes, and we're proud grannies.
We've been switching photos this morning and doing the
as you should be.
Yeah, well, and that's getting a bit contentious because mine are cuter.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and where is he going? Who cares? Right, guys, you take care. Have a
you
great
too,
Christmas
Paul.
and summer and everything.
This has been a real joy. I have to
fun,
say,
hasn't it?
I didn't know whether I was going to like you, but I do.
Yeah, you do. A little too much. Paula Bennett and Annette King, thank you both very much. All the very best for next year. Right, 29 minutes away from 8. Great to have you with us on the last Paul Henry Show this Friday morning. It's the 16th of December. Time for the 7:30 news. Here's Ingrid.
Good morning. A second considering the nominee gift bags are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is the latest from News Hub. It is 26 to 8.
You know, such lovely, lovely feedback about the program. You guys as well. It's just lovely feedback. People writing in to say they just don't know what they're going to do in the future. Feedback like this from Tracy. I was suffering from postnatal depression last year. Started watching your show. It always gave me a smile and a laugh, which is hard to do with someone suffering postnatal depression. And so I'm so pleased about that. And that was the whole point. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we cover really serious stuff. There's a lot of really serious stuff, but we've got to remember we're actually living. You know, it's about our life. No one's going to give you today back again. So if you can find room to put a smile in the day, it's probably better than not. Yanni says this: I am a New Zealand media scholar, and personally, I don't like you at all. However, I'm deeply sorry to see you go, as you're the best at what you do, without doubt. The prospect of watching the other channel is truly horrifying. All the best. I watch your continued career with much interest. Thank you very much for writing in.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a media academic.
Exactly.
There's nothing,
actually, quite often you can say there's nothing worse than an academic, full stop.
Just do the job rather than talk about it.
You won't really be able to watch my career because I've never seen it as a career, really. It's been a selection of jobs, but because they've all been in roughly the same industry, I suppose you would. I mean, I suppose a selection of jobs is a career, half-assed career. But anyway, I'm basically calling it quits. I'm not, I'm semi-retiring, but emphasis on the retiring rather than the semi. Hi, Paul, you bastard. You made us fall in love with you and now you're leaving. 'Twas a marriage made in heaven and the separation will be devastating. Carol, thank you. I was thinking you might come on naked today, as that is how you often say you are most comfortable. Kim, I'm sorry I've disappointed you, Kim.
We're not.
I mean, well, nudity, there is a time and place. There is a time and place. I mean, I'd be quite happy to take all my clothes off now, quite frankly, because there's nothing wrong with the human body, certainly nothing wrong with mine. Pam says, hi, Paul. Apart from my husband, you and John Key were the special men in my life, and now you have both left. Whatever I think of you, I will laugh, but the drive to work will never be the same again. Tell me if you believe we are living in paradise. Why are you leaving for Palm Springs? I mean, I'm not permanently going there. It'll just be parts of the year, every year that I spend there. Finally, Jolene said, on Wednesday, you received an inquiry about whether we will see the New Zealand flag jacket, and you said you would wear it on your last day. Did I say that?
You said you might.
No.
I said I might.
We discussed it, didn't we? And we decided against it.
It's that great parenting phrase, I might.
Yeah. So Jolene, I'm sorry that I didn't, because you wanted me to, but I just don't know, was it appropriate? The flag jacket did its job, didn't it? We still have the best flag in the world. Right, Verity. So people are still sending in pictures of them toasting the program with Pinot.
We had some fantastic ones. So we had a lovely, we have a lovely trend that's developing of naked men, semi-naked men who are drinking Pinot and sending.
I didn't know it was only men. Is it only men?
Well, it's only men at the moment, which I'm liking. But so we have a lovely photo from Colin Mathura Jeffries, who sent in him shirtless, and then we also have Craig, who sent himself in fully naked with a Pinot bottle covering his man parts.
We're going to put these all up on the Facebook page.
They're already on Facebook.
Okay, that is a very small Pinot bottle. That's one of those. That's a miniature from a hotel room. Okay, keep them coming in. Just send them to our
Paul Henry.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I can see your Pinot from here. Are you pleased to see me, or is that the Pinot? It's 22 minutes away from 8. Brilliant to have you with us. This is what the forecast is doing today and this weekend.
Wicket-keeper Luke Ronke is also in the squad, but BJ Watling, Henry Nichols and Todd Astle have all been dropped after the 3-0 thumping by the Australians.
Brilliant. And that is sports news. Thanks, Jim. 20 minutes away from 8.
Paul Henry.
Good to have you with us. Here are the things you do not need to know this Friday morning. At number 1, Kim Jong-un is apparently not a happy drunk. A source within the North Korean government, this is a mistake, you don't want to spill the beans on him, has revealed that back in September, the leader got drunk and ordered his military chiefs to stay up all night writing apologies for their failures. When Kim Jong-un woke up the next morning, he wondered why the officials were still there. What, in his bedroom? It's believed he drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine the night before. 10 bottles. Mind you, he's a big man. He's not tall, is he? But he's fat. At number 2, Christmas has come early for the residents at London Zoo. All the animals woke up to presents from Santa. While the tigers didn't actually have anything inside their wrapped boxes, they could still unwrap them. The meerkats were given pine cone baubles stuffed with festive vegetables. What is a festive vegetable? At number 3, oh, look at that vegetable. How festive. At number 3, Guantanamo Bay is getting a $12 billion revamp. Is that correct? That can't be right. Who wrote this? $12 billion revamp for Guantanamo Bay? That can't be right. Anyway, raising doubt the offshore detention centre will close anytime soon. If it was New Zealand, you'd be sure it was going to close, because that's the last thing the government would do, spend money doing it up before they closed it. US President Barack Obama pledged, of course, to close the prison. The government is also building a multi-million-dollar dining facility for troops who work at the prison. Is that on top of the $12 billion revamp? And seeking funding for better housing. Seriously, we need to look at those figures. At number 4, residents of a small British town are outraged after their award-winning lollipop sign traffic warden was banned from giving children high fives. 58-year-old Sheila Allen was devastated to find out she was breaking health and safety rules. Instead, she's only allowed to give children a smile. Finally, at number 5, the small Kiwi town of Patea has received an early Christmas present from the government. They've been added to the TSB Community Trust area. This means they can now apply for funding from the trust. The first items on their wish list: tennis courts and security cameras. It's 18 minutes away from 8. After the break, homelessness has been one of the big stories this year. We'll discuss that next.
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Do they know it's Christmas time and
Great to have you with us for the last Paul Henry show ever. It is 14 minutes away from 8, and a very Merry Christmas to you as well, because, of course, that is now just around the corner. Here's Ingrid with the news headlines.
An orca expert insists there are systematic failures with Doc's Animal Helpline. It's looking a little less like Christmas in an Invercargill suburb after vandals forced the council to take down their big tree. And some teachers in Colorado will now be able to carry guns on campus. More from News Hub at 8.
There's a song in that. It's looking a little less like Christmas, isn't there, for Invercargill? And that whole orca thing is just bloody ridiculous, isn't it? It's rules and regulations gone mad. The guy has now been stood down because he saved an orca's life. You know, that's how silly. The animal's so precious. Oh, let it die. We can't touch it. It's too precious.
Paul Henry.
It's 13 minutes away from 8. Homelessness has been one of the big stories this year. It's on the rise in New Zealand, go figure, with more than 41,000 people sleeping rough. All this year, I have been warning the government that this is a true crisis. They have been avoiding that. There is no worse time to be without a roof over your head than at Christmas. Mangere Budgeting Services CEO Daryl Evans and Dunedin Methodist Mission Business Development Leader Jimmy McLaughlin join us now. Morning to you both. Great to have you on. Thank you very much. All the very best for Christmas and the new year. It is 8 minutes away from 8. Brilliant to have you with us. Of course, this is the last time I can really say that, because none of us will be here next year as a result of the program ending, actually. And so it won't be here for you, Jim, and it won't be here for you, Ingrid, and it won't be here for you, Verity. See you later. So what will you do, Jim? What's on the horizon?
Oh, first of all, a bit of beach. But yeah, next year, look, I won't be disappearing from people's radios and news feeds, so I won't be getting up at stupid o'clock, as we all like to call it.
Yeah.
But I won't be disappearing. Sorry about that, folks. You'll have to put up with me for a little bit longer.
No, brilliant, brilliant. I'm very pleased to hear it. So watch this space
Watch this space. But certainly I need to go to the beach. We all need a bit of sun.
Oh, God, we need to do summer. Summer is the thing we need to do. Ingrid.
Well, obviously, offers are flooding in from management, so it'll take a while to sort of collate them.
Well,
I want to
alphabetise
them and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take an age. Colour code them. You know, I like organisation.
Yeah.
So I am going to be back in some form, just not at this time slot.
Brilliant. And Verity, how about you? What's happening? Because I'm going to dismantle the bloody bunker and take it with me.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm looking for a more serious and considered role in journalism and the media, so I'm going to be going on The Bachelor. I'm just kidding.
No, I love it.
Or am I?
Do you know, well, why don't you? Or are you?
Or am I?
I'm just kidding, which is exactly the sort of thing someone who was going on The Bachelor would say. Brilliant. Hey, guys, obviously, you know how I feel about the extraordinary work you've done. I'm just so proud of you all, and I look forward from a distance watching your stellar careers, as I'm sure they will be. It's 6 minutes away from 8. Verity, let's just get an update on the, because your work isn't over yet.
No.
Let's get an update on the poll today. Remind me of the question. Let's listen to it very carefully.
The poll today was, are you the kind of person who participates in polls?
Are you the kind of person who participates in polls?
And 36% of people say that they are not.
36% of people have voted and said they're not.
Yeah. Have participated in the poll to say that they do not participate in polls.
Statistically, Don Brash is in. You're a statistics man. Statistically, Don, what is the correct statistic there in the answer to that poll? Are you the kind of person that participates in polls?
And the faintest idea.
Wouldn't it be 100%? 100% would have to be yes, wouldn't it? For that to be anywhere near correct. And yet 36% of people have said no. What are you really doing next year, Verity?
I told you, Paul, or did I? Nah, I'm going to be definitely hoping to get some sleep-ins and enjoy more of a normal 22-year-old lifestyle.
Oh, so nothing.
No. You don't worry, I'll be here. You'll see me again.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me that quickly.
Yeah, so you're actually just not answering the question.
Yes, I think I just got to leave out of your book and I learned to just talk and then...
Yeah, and say nothing.
Yeah.
No, very nice, very nice. My job here is done. It's 5 minutes away from 8. News is next on Paul Henry, plus today's fabulous panel, PR guru Trish Sherson and former, well, everything, Don Brash.
If you blow my high, you won't see me cry. Gotta whistle while you're working.
It is truly incredible how this quake has altered the landscape of this coastline.
And there are likely to be more trials to come after a 6.4 magnitude aftershock.
Live from our multi-platform broadcast centre, on radio, on TV, online, with our partner AMP. This is Paul Henry.
It is so good to have your company this morning, New Zealand. After news, I'm going to ask my wonderful, wonderful colleagues what their sort of highlight is from the year of Paul Henry, from the last year of Paul Henry. But for the next half hour, between 8 and 8:30, our panel this morning, PR guru Trish Sherson. And I said before, it was somewhat cruelly former everything, but you've certainly been a dab hand at many things, Don Brash.
Yeah.
No, good, we'll leave it there. And also, he's a man of few words. The movie review, Rogue One, because obviously you have to, it's huge. It's not just a movie, is it? It's like a whole thing. And before the end of the program, I will actually say goodbye today. Right now, it is 8 o'clock. It's time for the very latest news.
Yeah. That is the latest from News Hub. It is 8:03.
And not only is it 8:03, it's
beginning to look a lot
like Christmas. Right, Jim, your favourite thing from Paul Henry this year, so over the last year, what would it be? What would your moment be?
I've always enjoyed getting any sports story past you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And we've got lots of interviews on.
And you battle sometimes. People should know you try many different avenues to convince me something to do with sport is actually news.
Yeah. So I'm going to do two, because the politicians never had one.
Oh, you're right.
So the first time you interviewed Nigel Owens, the referee.
How good was he?
And he talked about his battle with depression because he was gay in a very masculine rugby world, and I thought that was brilliant. But I really enjoyed when you thought Jimmy Neesham was Liam Neeson.
Yeah, that was a highlight, eh? That was a highlight.
Because you just turned what was a, can I say cock up, a bit of a mistake into something brilliant. And you know, I don't want to blow smoke up here because, you know, you're good at doing that yourself.
I'm full of smoke anyway.
Yeah, but your ability to take sports stories to a direction that no one else goes to because you don't really care about sport, I've really enjoyed. And a lot of the people that I bring in, you interview them in a way that no one else ever would. You know,
Well,
look
that's a very lovely thing to say.
at your love affair with Joseph Parker.
I know, and boxing. I mean, seriously, is there anyone on the planet interested in it?
You hate sport, but you turn sports interviews into
Hate is a harsh
into
word.
something gold. So I've really enjoyed that.
Okay, and I must say, you know, I love the fact that you have an almost obsessive knowledge of rugby, don't you? I mean, it's more than just an interest for you, isn't it?
I love the game, yeah. I think it represents some of the really cool things about New Zealand. Not so much this year, it hasn't, but it can.
It hasn't been a brilliant year, actually, for rugby. All right, Ingrid, your highlight from this year.
Oh, well, there was this one news bulletin. It was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just take me. I'm joking. There's so many highlights. I'm going to say something that I remember is the little Rio de Janeiro song thing that we used to do. Not because it was great television or radio, and it was appalling singing, but because when I got home and my kids sort of looked at me and was like, "What were you thinking?" And I thought I was not thinking, and that's a great thing. We don't think, and sometimes a kind of magic happens.
Yeah, and the nice thing is this program, and there's one of the special things about this program, one of the many special things about this program, is it's not managed within inches of its bloody life. I mean, it's happening now. It's just, you know, and it's also
beginning to look a lot like
Christmas.
See, your kids are going to say, "What were you thinking?" Verity, your highlight from this year?
I have two as well, like Jim did. The first one was trolling Jim on air, off air, on all our social media platforms and saying that he should audition for the male strip group Men of Steel. Yeah. And then the moment when Jim texted me and said, "You are in so much trouble, they've just offered me a job stripping for them." That was brilliant. The
no one wants that.
The pure terror on his face.
Fantastic. That was the number one?
No, that was the number two. The number one was when I said that I was going to piss on your face, not kiss your face.
Right, yeah. Was that actually, in reality, a slip-up?
I think it was my
Let's leave it there.
subconscious...
No, let's seriously leave it there. Right, 7 minutes past 8. This is what the weather's doing today and this weekend.
Look, a new sport is sure to aid her progress. The 28-year-old's trying to make the start line in 2 disciplines at the next Olympics in Tokyo.
It's 11 minutes past 8. Thanks, Jim.
Turn every morning into a great day with AMP.
This is Paul Henry. We're back reviewing 2016 and predicting 2017. Yes, we're looking back. We're looking forward with our panel in just a moment.
Gotta slow up, gotta shake this high. Gotta take a minute just to ease my mind.
Tomorrow belongs to those who start today with AMP.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let it.
Alrighty, welcome back. Great to have you with us, New Zealand. It is almost Christmas, isn't it? How good is that? And it's a Friday morning. The weekend's just around the corner. The kids are expecting wonderful things. And for old people, it's that opportunity to go around and just really annoy the young'uns. It's 15 minutes away from 8. Guess who's coming for Christmas? Here's Ingrid with the news headlines.
An orca expert says the problems with the recent tangled up whale show DOC is severely lacking in resources. The government's being told to focus on social issues as well as housing costs to fix homelessness. And about to do some holiday flying, a new report says hundreds of pilots fly planes while racked with depression. More from News Hub at 8:30.
Really? What's
Apparently
so depressing
a new
about
report.
flying planes?
I don't know.
Because that's that whole story, you know, that dentists are racked with depression all the time. That you can understand.
Paul Henry.
It is 16 minutes past 8. Don Brash, Trish, Sherson are our last panellists on the program. Great to have you both in. Yeah, okay, good. Are you going to be more chatty in a minute?
Yes, a tie in your honour, Paul.
You're wearing a red tie.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm going to take it as Republican. Donald Trump came along. Worst thing, 2016, worst thing, Trish?
Well, you're leaving, Paul. That's pretty significant. I had this fabulous Uber driver on the way, and you'll love this. And I said he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm off to do this panel on Paul Henry." And he goes, "You know what? He's a bit of an ass, but I quite like him." Ashley Uber driver, and I love it. I said, "I'm going to tell Paul because he likes the word ass."
Yeah, I don't like Uber drivers, but I do like the word ass. Brilliant. We'll be back with our panel on new topics in just a moment. It's only 19 past 8. All Right, brilliant to have you with us this morning. I love that song. It's 23 minutes past 8 on Paul Henry on a Friday morning. Trish, Sherson, Brash are our final panel for the year and for the program. Right, we've been looking
at
back.
Winston's face as a canary.
Yeah, in a cage, a really secure cage on the end of a long stick down a very deep mine. Has he, why are we talking about him? No. But, he is a superb politician, isn't he, Don?
He is. He made a decision on who would be governor in 96 and again in 2005.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
Of course you did. Yeah. If you had to hand awards out for the most influential politicians in the last couple of decades, I reckon your Winston Peters would be winning, wouldn't he?
How far do you go back? Do you go back into the 80s?
You go back to
2 decades only. To 96. He could well be. If you go back to the 80s.
2 decades only.
Don likes to be clear, not your silly
there were some people who made big changes to New Zealand.
Yes, there were.
No one's made big changes to New Zealand in the last 20 years.
No, but they only made those changes because Winston let them. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. God, it's been brilliant. Trish, Don, enjoy your year. I know you're both going away for whatever it is you're going away for. I'm just surprised you're going together. Right. It's 26 minutes past 8. Just ahead, the 8:30 news, and Kate is in for her Rogue One review. Good to have you with us, New Zealand. Last 30 minutes of Paul Henry ever coming up. It is exactly 8:30. Time for the latest news. Here's Ingrid.
Good morning. An orca expert is calling for an overhaul of dock funding. This after Whirianga Harbour Master Matt Collicott was stood down for his part in an orca rescue. He stepped in to help because Doc had known about the distress whale for 60 years.
Or had children post their whereabouts on social media have experienced a break-up.
Ben Clement also advises against posting photos of valuables, which could put a bullseye on your back. That is the latest from News Hub. It is 27 to 9.
To be fair, it is only reasonable that criminals are using social media because the police are using social media. Just everyone's using social media. So, how many times do you have to give out warnings about your use of social media? God, are you all idiots? Why? Seriously, what do you, when you say, oh, we're all out, the key's under the mat if you're coming round Norman.
Just pop into the Gold Coast for 2 weeks.
Exactly. Here's when we're leaving. Here's when we're back. Just to prove it, I've just sent a picture of my departure card, which has got all my personal information on it in coded form. It's just people are just morons.
Here's photos of the Christmas presents you can steal.
To be fair, social media was actually created for the use of morons. So it's all hand in glove. Right, just very quickly, I feel a little bit bad about an interview that I conducted a short time ago on camping, because camping is horrible. Do you remember when this was? It was a few weeks ago, and it was that sort of lead up to Christmas. It might have been a month ago. I don't know when it was. I've tried to rid my mind of it, but I can't. I just feel so terrible about it. And we had someone in there talking about, your tips spots. For camping, top spots. And
that's okay.
And you know what? Camping is so hideous, and I just didn't want to leave you before I leave my career with the view that I in any way endorse the idea of camping. So, officially, these are the 8 reasons everybody should hate camping. At number 1, tents do not pop up. No matter what it says on the packet, tents do not pop up, but they will pop down.
And they never go back in the bag.
Oh, but nothing does. Nothing. No. Have you ever tried to put anything back in its bloody bag? But that is a wider issue. Number 2, 2-man tents are designed for one 10-year-old child. Your tent is never, ever, ever big enough. Number 3, blow-up beds are for toddlers. There is no such thing as a comfortable blow-up bed. Don't be confused into thinking there might be. Number 4, weather does matter. Don't listen to anyone who says, oh, there is nothing like sleeping under canvas in a howling gale. You're right, you will die. If the weather is a bit shit, your holiday will be completely shit. Number 5, most camping facilities are rank. They just are. Seriously, the showers are covered in other people's body parts, if not full of other people already. And don't get me started on the toilets. Number 6, zipping. If you don't like that sound, do not go Camping. Your entire holiday, the theme tune of your holiday is that bloody zip, which towards the end of the holiday, if not at the beginning, won't even work properly. Number 7, tepid food and warm beer. That is your culinary experience camping. Oh yes, some people have 12-volt fridges which hold one tiny little bottle of beer and a couple of, I don't know what you want to keep cold, but basically it's rubbish. Number 8, false jollity. You know, people get in a tent and next minute it's ging gang ghoulie up the wazoo. At the end of the day, there is a reason why you only play cards and board games when you're in a tent. It's because there is no electrical connection. You know, it's just people, oh God, aren't we having fun, kids? And the kids look at you through pitiful eyes thinking, one day I'll grow up and I will burn you. Do you know what I mean?
Hidey hi, camper.
Exactly.
Hidey hi.
False jollity. That's all it is. So anyway, there are the 8 reasons why, and I do apologise.
That's
for
your one regret when you look back over your career is having an interview that may have led people to think you like camping.
It is my one regret,
Priorities.
but I've rectified it. 23 minutes away from 9. This is what the weather is doing today. Alrighty, so not too bad. Certainly not camping weather. There's a reason to stay indoors. 22 minutes away from 9. Just to tell you that the Christmas spirit is alive and well.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Malcolm Jeffrey. You will remember Malcolm Jeffrey from earlier this week. He won a $10,000 parallel imported prize package playing our last game of 9 and 10 this year. 2 days ago, he did that. He has decided to donate $1,000 of the to the Neonatal Trust. $1,000 of his $10,000 voucher he's going to donate to the Neonatal Trust. Well, yesterday, Parallel Imported contacted us. They've decided to match Malcolm's donation. So there's $2,000. So, I mean, it's just a nice little Christmas story. All right, I'll say this once more in my entire life. Jim Sport, go.
Thank you, Paul. World Rugby Player of the Year, Beauden Barrett, has capped off a brilliant 12 months by claiming 2 prizes at the New Zealand Chapel Hadley Series across the ditch. And Paul, that is Jim Sport gone.
I love it. It's 20 minutes away from 9. Thank you, Jim.
Henry.
Right, before we do this, I should ask you the Friday morning question, which is what sport are you interested in? But because this is at the end of the programme, let's look entirely over summer, leaving out the tennis. So, irrespective of the tennis, what is happening sports-wise over the summer that we might be interested in?
The cricket, but I'm going to try and see a bit of surf fly saving.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I've got lots of family that compete in that, and I'm going to try and get around a few beaches and watch them.
I like it. Watch it rather than be involved in it. It is 19 and a half minutes away from 9. Coming up, Friday's film review. We're talking Star Wars next.
I got bills, I gotta pay, so I'm gonna work.
Cafe right after Paul Henry.
Tomorrow belongs to those who start today with AMP.
All right, welcome back. Great to have you with us. 15 and a half minutes away from 9. Some things never change. It's a Friday morning. Hey, it's time for the film review. Kate Roger just said to me, I don't need an intro. Don't people know who the hell I am? Entertainment editor Kate Roger joins us for the...
That's true, though, isn't it?
People that don't know who the hell you are.
Oh, the one person.
Okay, obviously...
Potter, obviously, fantastic beasts, and where to find them. Trolls, great for the young kids. Get their Office Christmas Party, please make it stop. A United Kingdom and Underworld. Blood Wars.
Have a brilliant Christmas.
I'm
take
going to have a brilliant
I'm
Christmas.
I'm going to miss you, actually. It's 12 minutes away from 9. After the break, we're back.
Darling, I'll say goodbye, even though I'm blue, even though I'm blue, even though I'm so high on the road, where the dogs of society howl.
Alrighty, welcome back for the last time. It has been great to have you with us on Paul Henry. It is 8 minutes away from 9, and I remember just over 2 years. If you're not interested in this program or anything like that, tune out now. I remember just over 2 years ago, I was invited to lunch by Mark Weldon, who was then CEO, and a small group, a small clutch of management who are no longer with us, were at the lunch, and I said yes, I'll go because it was free wine. And knowing Mark Weldon, I thought it would be quite good wine, and he presented me with the idea for this program, a program that had never been done anywhere else in the world. And I instantly recognised it was a brilliant idea, but it would be a problem. and that there would be only one person who would be capable of helping me pull this all together, and that's our executive producer, Sarah Bristow. Sarah, you've done a brilliant job. I mean, you have done a brilliant job because, you know, there was no template for this.
There was
we
no
created
blueprint.
it. We created the blueprint.
We did.
You, of course, were living quite happily with your family in Australia, and so we had to shower you with fabulous amounts of money. But it worked, and you were tempted.
I'm still waiting to be showered.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I have to go.
This was a crazy, crazy concept, and we did have no blueprint, but I just want to thank you, the audience, because you have been watching and listening to a world first, a genuine world first. So that's been pretty cool. Now, we have some other thanks to get out the way. Can we tag team this, please?
All right.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank every single person who has put their fingerprint on the show from woe to go. And there are too many names to name people, but I'm going to name...
Some of them have been a bit shit. But they've still done it.
This is when I wish I could be in your ear.
Right.
There are too many names to name, but let's go into some groups of people who need to be mentioned. First of all, the Media Works Board and all of the management who've just been our number one supporters. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
You know, right at the beginning of this, because we didn't know how to do it, because no one had done it before, we left things to the last minute. And I remember you and me, Sarah, went to the boardroom at AMP.
Yes.
So we went to the boardroom at AMP and said, look, this is the concept. It's going to cost you bloody hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they said, oh, it does sound interesting. It's the sort of thing we'd be interested in. When do we have to make a decision? And we looked at our watches and we said, look, we'd like to hear something by the end of today. And they said yes.
Yep.
And they've been with us ever
since. They have
since.
been absolutely awesome. I want to thank everyone who's been on board for 9 and 10 as prize sponsors.
Absolutely.
Giving away some awesome things.
Newsrooms in Auckland, all around the country. You know, I'm going to say it, News Hub, yeah, I'll throw you a bone. The newsrooms all around the country that have been part of bringing our news bulletins and our sports bulletins to you every morning.
Our fabulous studio crew who just brings this space alive every morning and has completely bought into the vibe of the show. Thank you.
On this show, you're not just crew, you're performers.
You're window dressing.
Have performed brilliantly. You're window dressers. You could be working for Harrods. Our amazing team in the control room. And here's the thing, the team are amazing, the equipment is not so good. And they have had to make this equipment do stuff it was never designed to do, because who would design to do stuff for a program that no one had thought of? And you've done a brilliant job.
Okay, we need to speed up. The teams in makeup, styling, sales, integration, graphics, editing, sound, camera teams, live crews.
The people I curse the most, the engineers and the IT people. I do curse you because I don't basically understand what you do, but I know it's vital.
The marketing, PR and comms teams, and our wonderful team of producers who work all hours of the day and night trying to put this show together.
Absolutely. And the people that stay in our houses and we have sex with, because you have to put up with the fact that we literally get up before Jesus was born every morning. And so it does compromise your life as well.
Right, to Jim, Ingrid, Verity, Tony and all of our fabulous reporters, I just have to say you have been an epic on-air team. I couldn't think of Paul having better people to finish the show with. You've brought us so many loves and you've given us so much of yourself. So thank you very much for that. And lastly, the man himself. On TV and radio, our ratings have surpassed what anyone in this country ever expected. That's down to you. Your energy, drive, passion is truly astounding, and you could be forgiven for thinking that he does flounce around with the glasses of Pinot day in, day out, and sometimes he does. But he arrives at his alarm goes off at 2:30 in the morning, and he is on the phone sometimes late into the night figuring out what we're going to put on this show. On a personal note, we've worked together many, many years, and despite all of your complaining, it has been a wonderful life.
It has been a wonderful life, hasn't it?
Paul, your audience will miss you. I know you'll be back on our screens next year. Our audience will miss you. We will miss you. And I just want to finish with the words of a special and amazing woman. Go on, Paul. Have the time of your life.
Thank you very much. Alrighty. Just a couple of... thank you very much. Just a couple of very quick words from me. Ingrid, thank you so much. You've been here for the last year. I wish you were here from the very beginning. You have been absolutely stunning, and you have really embraced this, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with you.
It's been a privilege,
Jim,
Paul.
You've been here from day one. I couldn't have thought of any better person to have doing the job you've done. I thank you so much for watching my back and always being there when I needed to ask you a question about bloody sport. Thank
Thanks,
you
mate.
so much. And to both of you, all the very best for your futures. It's been a privilege working with you and Andy leave my career with you. Verity, thank you very much. I've just enjoyed you so much in so many ways.
Not those ways.
And obviously to the team, we've already thanked you. This week I lost my most important audience member, which has probably confirmed to me that this is the perfect time to end my career. I thank you very much for being part of it. That's it. Many thanks to our partners, obviously AMP. I'd like to dedicate today's final program to you, the most important component in all of this nonsense. Thanks for listening, watching, and taking part. Make every day a brilliant day in paradise. Goodbye.
So many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying, you're trying now. Another year and then you'd be happy. Just one more year and then you'd be happy. But you're crying now. Way down the street there's a light in his place. He opens the door, he's got that look on his face, and he asks you where you've been. You tell him who you've seen, and you talk about anything. He's got this dream about buying some land. He's gonna give up the booze and the one-night stands, and then he'll settle down in some quiet little town.